Hi everybody, welcome to Live with Kim, your weekly weight loss meeting. Well, if things look a little bit different than usual, they are. Tonight, March 24th, I am physically not here. I'm at QVC in Pennsylvania for on-air training. I do 2 or 3 times a year, I do some pre-tape meetings each year for vacation, for traveling, and this happens to be one of them. Now the regular crew is still live with you in the chat room. There's Matt, Peter, Penny. Say hi, guys. Well, I've been down at QVC working all day with media specialists and directors and wardrobe consultants, making sure that I get approved for the big debut on QVC channel. So keep your fingers crossed. I might even have some news for the gang by the time the meeting begins tonight. So Penny, if you've heard anything, go ahead and chat it in the chat room. Now the exciting news for tonight is this. We've been invited to Mystic Aquarium in Mystic Village to pre-tape this meeting. And at the aquarium, we were given a trainer to interview behind the scenes. So I kind of got to thinking about the analogy of training animals as we retrain ourselves, as we try to create this new lifestyle of ours, because there really are similarities. You get the same animal, but new behavior. They have the same senses and instincts, but they're retrained to fit a whole new lifestyle. So there's definite similarities, right? Well, as you'll see, there's even more than you can imagine. And tonight, we're gonna learn some of that and give you a little bit of a tour of the highlights of Mystic. Right, Penny?
It was a lot of fun. Yes.
I know, this is great. So what's your favorite part of Mystic?
Other than the fact that it's really cold.
Well, we've been out here for about half an hour.
Well, I gotta tell you, the most fun stuff that I see is the history that Mystic brings. There's so much.
It's right on the seaport. I'm looking out over here. I know you can't see it all, but there's big ships. We're right in the entryway to the Mystic Maritime Seaport Museum. So in here, usually it's a bustle of activity. I'm sure it will be more so as the season starts.
It's amazing. Only a few weeks away, we won't be doing this.
So we're going to be out on the beach next week, though. So if you guys remember the whole beach episode, that's coming up next week. Okay. So we are going to head down the street to Mystic Aquarium. Oh wait, you want to know what my favorite part is?
Oh, tell me.
The really exciting thing was seeing Mystic Pizza. And not because I love pizza, but because, you know, that's the whole Julia Roberts and the movies.
Yes. And right near there is one of the older drawbridges.
Oh, it's so cute.
Yes, yeah.
So we've been driving around Mystic, having a lot of fun, but we're going to take you behind the scenes at Mystic Aquarium in just a minute, and we're going to start actually by talking with our trainer. Lindsay here is a trainer at the Mystic Aquarium. Hi, Lindsay.
Hi.
Now, trainer is the key word here. How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing it for just about 3 years now with the beluga whales.
Wow.
And it's every year is more fun and interesting.
I bet. Some are simple, some are more complex. What is the training process that you go through to teach a whale something?
All the training that we use right now with our belugas, well, with all the animals here at the aquarium, is called positive reinforcement. So when the belugas perform something correctly, they get a big reinforcement, which is usually fish, or it can even be jello and ice cubes. We'll take a behavior and we'll go through all the steps. We'll take all behaviors and break them down into easy, achievable steps for the belugas, and along the way, as they achieve those steps, they get that big reinforcement.
Small goals, and they reach one small goal, and you build on that to the next one.
Yes.
And then that behavior pretty much sticks with them forever, and they can do more and more complex things.
Yes, definitely.
Now, you were saying something about a target earlier, and I was trying to pick up on what that was. When you're setting a goal, is the target like the goal that they're going for, or?
Yeah, basically all the behaviors have an end result.
Okay.
So as we're training something, it could be, you know, as simple as a vocalization. So we'll wait for them to create one of those vocalizations, and eventually we'll just keep reinforcing that exact vocalization and pair a hand signal. We do all hand signals with them.
Okay.
So once they achieve that and they understand what that hand signal means, then they'll create that vocalization.
Now, what's your favorite part of your job?
Oh, there's just so many favorite parts. I'd have to just say being able to come here every day and interact with them. Different personalities, they're so much fun to interact with, and we don't only just teach them, they teach us so much about them as a species.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.
Thank you very much. This right here is Juno. So Juno is the male. He's 8 years old, and he's 11 feet long and weighs just around 1,100 pounds, but he's still, since he is only 8, he's not full grown yet. So one day he'll reach over 2,000 pounds when he's fully grown. There's Keela swimming by, so she's the one that we will be meeting. So right now it's pretty much free time for them because our sessions don't officially start until we put shapes into the water. So this shape right here tells Keela where she'll be for the session. So they are all individually shape trained. Keela is an X, Naku is a circle, and Juno is in the shape of a whale's tail. So at the start of our sessions, we put the shapes in the water, we blow 3 whistles, and that tells them it's the start of a feeding. So they just search the exhibit for their specific shape, and then they know they're with us for that session. So Juno, he's relatively new here to Mystic. He came to us in January of 2010. So he's been here for just over a year. And when he came to us, he didn't know what shapes were. So we actually trained him to recognize his shape.
How long did that take?
It's still a work in progress. Some days he goes to his correct shape, some days he doesn't. So he's still learning that concept, but he's doing amazing at it.
Some people gain weight because they eat a lot of unhealthy, fattening foods and do very little exercise. That's relatively simple to handle. Eat more healthily and get more exercise. But for many of us, the real problem is eating when we aren't really hungry. If we would stop eating when we felt full and only ate when we were physically hungry, the weight problem would disappear. So why do we eat when we're not hungry? Well, there's lots of reasons. Food is a diversion. It's a great way to break from work. Food is a way to reward yourself. It's associated with feelings of love and of acceptance. Or maybe it's a way to stuff unpleasant feelings down, like anxiety and anger, loneliness and sadness. Food is social, it's warm and it's comforting, and it can be a great way to get compliments and share love with others, making our own loved ones feel really good too. It's a way to deal with stress, and let's be honest, food tastes really good, which makes you feel really good, at least temporarily. Animal trainers in aquariums and zoos and theme parks use the principles of classical conditioning. It's a form of associative learning. So if your weight loss problem is the result of eating when you aren't hungry, then overcoming that will involve some kind of training, some behavioral conditioning, whether you know it or not. We've all been negatively behaviorally conditioned to an extent. There's exorbitant portion sizes. We have nighttime eating triggers, and they've all become part of our problem. It will take conscious choices and training to help change all that.
Most behaviors, like long-term weight loss, can't be learned all at once. It develops in steps. The problem in weight loss is people get discouraged. I mean, we're not looking to retrain our behavior, right?
Yeah.
We're looking to what? Get skinny. And when the scale doesn't reflect a loss, we say,
Forget about it.
forget about it. I mean, if I'm going to work real hard all week and not lose a pound or two, I'm going to at least go out and enjoy myself.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. Well, weight loss can be steady, but learning a new long-term lifestyle has to come in steps, just like the step-by-step learning process for animals. It's like, think of learning to ride a bike. You have 4 boys.
Yes.
Starting on a
Tricycle.
and then a 2-wheeler with training wheels.
Yep.
And then a big
2-wheeler,
10-speed bike.
and then a dirt bike.
And if you're Penny, a dirt bike. A lot of steps to reaching your final goal, each reinforcing and building on the previous one. This step-by-step learning process is an example of training, just like training animals, right?
And now I'm going to train you how to buy me something nice in the store over here.
Just like Juno the beluga whale was trained to find his specific shape, his X, and to make specific sounds on command, so we too can train ourselves in time to follow the behaviors associated with healthy eating. If we make ourselves pull out a measuring spoon for olive oil instead of just dumping it every time, eventually we will reach for the measuring spoon when we reach for the olive oil. Yes, even you wonderful Italian cooks can do this for your health and for the health of your family members. It's really important, but it doesn't happen overnight, and it won't happen if you do it just once or twice. Training is all about repetition and building blocks.
Here you go. You know, reinforcers, communication, and target recognition are all the basic building blocks of how all of this is done. Once an animal learns the foundation, like
How to pack a picnic lunch.
how to pack a picnic lunch, it applies to learning new behaviors,
like how to go out to dinner.
right, you learn how to do it here, you take it out to dinner. And then they can train an animal to perform real complex behaviors
Like how to go on a cruise or an extended vacation and stay on program.
That's right. So all the tools that they learn in the beginning, they can apply to everything else just like us. That's the whole idea. That was so much fun getting to pet that beluga whale today, wasn't
It
it?
was really fun.
It was really a lot of fun. And Mystic trainers use food as a primary reinforcer during their training process.
But not the best idea for us.
No, not the best idea for us. But other reinforcing stimuli for marine animals include rub downs.
And that would depend on who's doing the rubbing.
If you like that or not for your reinforcing. Well, they also like to do, oh, don't you love those bells?
Oh, I love that.
They're beautiful. There's a little church over there. We're in the Mystic Village right now. But some of the other positive reinforcing besides foods include squirting. So I thought maybe you'd like, no?
No, it doesn't do it for me.
For you. But they also give them toys and all kinds of things. So I thought maybe, you do really good and eat a healthy lunch. No, I don't think so. Anyway, those are some of the other things they use to reinforce with the whales and the other mammals and creatures there. The important thing to note here is that each animal doesn't respond in the same manner. She was telling us that some of them like to have sugar-free Jell-O.
I know, isn't that cool?
Isn't that cool? And others like to have ice.
And some just like the pat.
And the little pat. So, and of course they all like the treats. So therefore the trainer has to learn which reinforcers are appropriate for each individual animal.
Yes.
So I thought that was really
Very
neat.
cool.
Same with us. So what about you? Our primary reinforcer, the thing that tells us we're doing good, tends to be the scale, unfortunately, because that can be very inaccurate at times. We have to start rewarding behavior, not the scale, not what we see.
Non-scale victories.
Non-scale victory, not the numbers. You know, reinforcers are one way to communicate with marine animals. The reinforcer, which is usually
food,
right? Usually the food lets the animal know when what they were doing has been performed correctly.
Right.
It's important that the animal knows immediately when it performs a desired behavior, especially for an animal that you can't explain it to. That delay of even a few seconds can accidentally reinforce bad behavior or undesired behavior.
The problem is in the training that since the trainers can't always instantly reinforce an animal while they're performing, they need something else to tell the animal, yes, you did a good job.
Right, and that's usually a whistle for whales and dolphins. So before giving the animal food, they introduce what they call a bridge signal. That's their whistle. The animal starts to come to associate that signal with the treat. So every time they get a treat, they blow the whistle. And the signal bridges the time lapse between the instant the animal performs the correct behavior and that instant that they are able to reinforce it. So that bridges that time. Well, for us, we don't get rewarded right away either, do we? I mean, our weight doesn't come off the second we don't eat a piece of cake. Oh, I didn't eat my cake. Bing, I'm thin. When I'll be thin then. It's that delayed gratification. And that takes time to learn. The reward will come if the behavior continues to be positive or good. We just have to wait for those rewards, unfortunately. So to train an animal, it's often helpful to lead the animal through behavior in small steps. We've already learned that. Usually this is done by using their hand. When they train, they had those hand signals. Remember
That was
really
that
cool.
was really cool. And
I did that one, and I liked Andrew's sound.
Oh, I forgot.
It was the foghorn. It was really cool. Well, when the behavior on the trick takes place really far away, I was asking her about that. You know, like out in the middle of the ocean, it's not right here. They use a tool called a target. It's usually a long stick with a floaty on one end of the stick, and it acts like an extension of their arm. It's a focal point or their goal. And there was just another beautiful analogy that I was thinking of.
So what's your focal point? If it's not right in front of you, what pointers do you have to remind you of them? Mm-hmm. Are they going to the meetings? Are they a part of your email group or buddy system?
Those are all different things that are great ways to keep it right in front of you, your focal point. Well, a key element of changing your attitude is changing your self-talk or your internal monologue. So that's another whole thing that we have to change. Your self-talk is that chattering conversation you have with yourself all day long.
I do it all the time.
All day long. Whether you're aware of it or not, it's that voice in your head that says, I'm too fat. I'm not good enough. You know, all those things that we say to ourselves.
Yep.
Well,
It's never going to work.
you know what I'm talking about. Well, it's this kind of negativity that keeps you from being the best that you can be. It's that delayed gratification that's really difficult. And one of the other things that we have to turn around is this whole self-talk. Well, it's time that we turn it around once and for all. We need to retrain ourselves to be thinking positive. It's so important. One more thing that we have to train. So imagine what would happen if you changed the dialogue so it sounded more like this. I can lose weight. I can be healthy. I can exercise. I can, to the best of my ability, I can get stronger. I can be better every time that I do it. If you said these things to yourself, what a difference training the way that you think would make in your life. Your self-talk can make the difference between happiness and despair, between your success and your failure, and between really enjoying this lunch here. And, you like those, huh?
I'll take these.
So we're gonna start working on that, right?
Yes.
All right.
I can do this.
I know, I can too.
Exercise is fun.
I'm enjoying this instead of the fried dough behind me. Do you see the fried dough?
You know what? I smelled it before.
Go like this. I don't know if Matt can see the fried dough sign there. We're not eating fried dough.
Not worth it.
It's really not.
No.
I'm so glad you're here, though. Penny's playing with her little reward there.
So retraining and conditioning isn't just in our actions, like making ourselves weigh and measure and plan out our day. It's also what goes on in our minds. It's probably even more so what goes on in our minds. Something triggers our, quote, head hunger, something like the smell of Cinnabons or driving past the Golden Arches, and we're all about needing to eat. If we don't work really hard on self-talk and controlling our thoughts, those triggers can cause us a boatload of pain. The hunger, while not physical, feels real and it hurts. We feel deprived, we miss our old comforts, and we cave in. If, however, we repeatedly tell ourselves that we're not physically hungry, we're okay, dinner is in an hour, we have a delicious meal planned, and we focus away from the drive-thru, the pain will go away. And if we do this successfully, repeatedly, the pull of the drive-thru will fade into a mere nuisance. But oftentimes we give up long before our success is solidified. To learn even more about the training at Mystic, we met with Erin.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'm Manager of Media and Public Relations here at the aquarium, and right now we're in our indoor exhibit floor and we are looking at the California sea lions. Sometimes, if you're lucky, they come over and they're pretty playful.
They are. They kind of come shooting right up here. Look at that.
Yes. We just introduced some younger females into the group and they're interacting very well with the vets who have been here for a while, and they're just learning to, get to know each other, and eventually they'll be involved with the sea lion show that we have here in the aquarium. It takes a little while to teach them all of the skills and all of the different training behaviors, but they're getting there.
So training is really an important part of what you guys do here.
Absolutely. It's a very important part of what we do. We can even train fish, believe it or not.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, we can. Turtles, our octopus, we are able to train them. It's just like any
same technique?
It is. Believe it or not, it is. It's the same type of techniques that we use with our marine mammals. The California sea lions, for example, they know a ton of behaviors. Our beluga whales know 50 to 80 different behaviors.
Wow.
So
Wow.
It's pretty impressive. They're very intelligent animals.
Okay, so here's the question everybody wants to know. Can we do this for our kids?
I'm not sure we have that advice for you.
That's great.
Yeah.
So sea lions here. This is pretty thick glass, I would imagine.
Oh, yes.
And they live in here.
Yep, they live in here.
And they're just playing around right now, so there's not a show going on.
There's not a show. We, depending on the season, anywhere from 3 to 5 shows a day. But right now, they're just hanging out. They get to have fun and enjoy between shows.
Awesome. They're so cute. Whoa, Matt, you gotta check it out.
Oh, hey, this is getting a little...
He's
he got
feisty.
nasty. Whoa, he got nasty.
Now, this little guy down here, he only has 4 legs.
Yeah, he's lost a lot. When you live with crabs, that's
Oh, is that what happened? It was
occupational
lunch.
hazard. You'll see a lot of them that have less than 5 legs. As long as the center area is intact, they'll regrow their legs.
Some of the other things we learned at Mystic are that under the sea, there are predators and there are victims. Just like on land, I guess. The victims, like the one-legged starfish that we saw, they can't lay down and give up or they'll die. Instead, they have to fight back. It may take time to grow back 4 other legs, but many starfish have done it. Time, perseverance, those are the keys to a successful, long life under the reef or in the harbor, just as they are in our weight loss journeys on land.
Check out the really interesting lobsters. Like the guy under here is a bright orange. You can't see him too well, but and this guy here, this blue, is the most amazing color.
Oh, he's
You'll never
beautiful.
probably see another one that color.
Another interesting exhibit was the Critter Cam. This was a fascinating project done by National Geographic, where cameras were strapped to various sea creatures, from sea turtles to seals and a whole bunch more in between. The premise was that a sea creature couldn't be photographed in an environment by humans without them potentially changing their behavior. Makes sense, right? Well, cameras strapped to others in the wild could capture real-life behaviors. My youngest son, Andrew, got to experience the Sea Creature Cam, even though it wasn't in the water. Still, we got to see my little creature's true colors when he thought he wasn't being recorded.
This one is a sea turtle camera, way down at the bottom there, and Matt suggested that we create a camera for each one of our members so that we could see at home what you're doing. What do you think? Would it help? Accountability cam.
Probably the most important takeaways I got from this segment was that training is possible. Training takes time, and training is best accomplished with positive, not negative, reinforcement.
The trainer never punishes or beats up the animal. Can you imagine harming emotionally or physically such a beautiful creature as those beluga whales? And yet, how much more valuable are we? And we do it all the time. It would be devastating in keeping the whales moving forward to reach their goal, but the same goes for us. If we gotta keep moving in the right direction for a lifetime lifestyle changes, we can't beat ourselves up as we go. We have to learn from our mistakes and move forward. The best example of this came from one of our members, Pam.
You know her as Cine May too.
Here's what she wrote. After messing up the other day, I remember a talk I had with my son years ago. He had messed up and he was feeling down, and I sat him down and I told him that I still loved him. He was, and still is, an avid car enthusiast, and I gave him this analogy. I said, when you're driving, where do you look? He looked at me really odd and he said, where I'm going. I said, right. Sometimes you look in the rearview mirror for reference or for parking or passing, but you don't keep looking in the rearview mirror while you're driving down the road because you'll end up crashing. You're spending too much time obsessed with that rearview mirror. Instead, keep looking out the windshield and only glance at the mirror to see how far you've come.
I love that.
Isn't it really good?
That's really good. Really good.
Thanks, Pam.
Thank you.
And here's another touching story. This one took place under the sea.
Okay, Charlotte the sea turtle has a very unique story. Unfortunately, she was in a boating accident. She wasn't rehabbed here at this facility, but we eventually took her in, and because of that, her back flippers don't work properly. She's not in pain or anything like that, but she can't really use her flippers, so she seems like that.
The creatures that you have here are either born here,
Yes.
or rescued,
Yes,
or traded.
A lot of aquariums and zoos will have breeding programs, and then they give the animals to other institutions.
Right.
We participate in that, and we also do rescue animals. That's correct, or they're breeded in-house here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So do you see a lot of boating accidents? I would think
We
propellers
do rescue sea turtles and seals and porpoises from around the area. A lot of the time it's stranding, so the animals are dehydrated, they can't find food, they come up on the beach, and then they're distressed, and we'll come bring them here to the institution, rehab them, and then release them to the wild when we determine that they're healthy and ready to go.
And then the ones like Charlotte
yeah.
have a new home here.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, how wonderful is that? She's adorable.
Yes, she's very cute.
What a great story of rescue and of an undying spirit. What about you this week? How does all this training apply to your behavior each day? Weight loss can be accomplished with just the physical reduction of calories and the increased inactivity. But if you want long-term weight loss success, a new lifestyle that's healthy, that you just stick with forever, changing from the inside out is going to start with a little training of your own.
This is Kim
And Penny.
signing off from Mystic Aquarium, Mystic Village, and the beautiful historic downtown Mystic. Have a great week, everybody. We'll be back next week with our regular live meeting, and I'll let you know how things went at QVC. Thanks for all your prayers. Oh, and join me Monday night at 8 p.m. right here in the meeting room for Motivational Mondays. Have an awesome OP week. Woo!
Mystic pizza. Woo.
You done?
All right, we're done.
Our main objective here is conservation of our ocean planet, protecting the ocean and the animals and plants that live in it. And so just by coming through our doors, paying that admission price, your money goes to a great cause. We are a nonprofit here at the aquarium, and we do conservation efforts here locally, regionally, nationally, internationally. We send staff members overseas to actually help rescue animals. Just this past winter, we sent 2 staff members to South Africa to help hand rear over 400 penguin chicks that had been abandoned by their parents. And by doing penguin encounter programs, beluga encounter programs, all of those funds go to our conservation efforts. So it's very important.
Thank you so much.